What's up everyone, Talon here, and today I'm going to be talking about just this chest rig, just this plate carrier. I know I have a separate video aside where I go over a lot of my LBX stuff, some of the LBX stuff that should be coming out in the near future, but I want to have just a separate video, a short video, where I don't go on any tangents, other explanations, so on and so forth, about other gear. Like I just want to have a quick video, just a quick one-on-one about this chest rig that I have right here on me, just to save a little bit of time. But before we do, of course, leave a like, leave a comment if you enjoy some of the content. If you recognize me from some of the content I've produced, go ahead and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I'm sure that a lot of the other community members in Wisconsin, surrounding states, or even maybe some of my international fans might enjoy that as well. This is a younger channel, so I would really appreciate any type of help from you guys. So let's get into it. So what I have going on here as to why I got this setup, it is a newer setup to me and I have used it only a couple of times, but the intention and the idea of this setup was to be something super minimalist, super lightweight, and something that I can primarily run indoors. Now granted, I could very easily just swap some pouches out, some things out for maybe a milsim or an outdoor setup, something that's going to be a little bit more adaptive, because a lot of the newer stuff that's coming out is going to utilize the placard clip systems, change the base model out for maybe different mag type, different mission objective system setup, whatever have you. They just want to increase the modularity and the customization for not only the gear, but also a lot of the equipment that airsofters might be utilizing as well. So I think it's something very important because I don't see a whole lot of content about this in particular, or even the newer Armatus series, wherever I have it buried. So really quickly, a little bit of back history with me. Worked as a manager, technician, content creator, media system, arena manager, referee, so on and so forth. Like I worked extensively at a local airsoft shop, airsoft headquarters, and some of the biggest brands that I like to advocate, of the ones that I pushed the most and made the most content of, is LBX here, which I have again kind of modeled out. So this being one of the newer systems, one that hasn't been added to my collection, I just figured let's just pick it up. Let's just try it out. Now granted, I don't have any type of connection, I don't have any type of relationship with LBX. They are a brand that I have utilized in my collection for many years. They are the first brand that I go with as far as if I'm getting a new rig setup, anything of that nature. They have not only a width of options, they're getting into that customization setup. I also like LBX for the fact that they are not manufacturing anything in China. The only outsourced country that they are utilizing for manufacturing purposes is Peru, and everything else is here in the US. So kudos on that. Not only that, but I think at the price point that they offer a lot of their equipment, it is very, very acceptable for a lot of these airsoft mindsets. I would probably make a little mention of. You know, I kind of know where you airsofters sit at, being one myself. We definitely want something that's going to be worth our money, but we don't want to put too much money into our kit because we are essentially only weekend warriors, right? So we don't want to put all of our money into our systems. So I think LBX sits at that level where you get the best bang for your buck. It is not only going to be the most comfortable, but it's also going to be the best quality, and it's going to be from a company, because a lot of people like to tote about how they don't want anything that's going to be China-based. Granted, there's a lot of airsoft stuff manufactured in China. This is going to be the brand that is going to sit within that niche, LBX specifically, in my opinion. But enough rambling, let's actually get into it. That's the purpose of this video. So we have here a placard-based system. Like I mentioned before, you can very easily, because it is Velcro mounted and clip mounted, remove those, rip off this placard if you don't want this type of system. If you want something that's going to be more minimalist, a basic male, I've got a 3 AR magazine basic setup here. They've got pouch systems, they've got general purpose pouch clip-ons, they've got other mag setups. So they do have already a wide range of magazine placard systems available on their website. Since talking with them at SHOT Show, again, when I was working for that local airsoft shop and talking with Bo, there was discussion about how there is going to be some MP5, some SMG pistol magazine placard options coming out soon. Don't have any type of information on that, but it was in the works, it was on the board, it was discussed. We just have to wait for it to actually come out. So once you've got your placard chosen, a lot of times they'll have just the bare minimum 3 magazine options. And to be honest, while a lot of people do search for more magazine options, 3 is the absolute bare minimum that a lot of these minimalist chest rig manufacturers are going with, because the guys that are mainly using them, that's typically what their minimal battle loadout is going to be. LBX and a lot of other manufacturers on the market are making extensions on the wing here. Now, in the case of the Assaulter's chest rig, they are just built into the system. These are not going to be any type of extension of Velcro and extension clip system like some of the other manufacturers are. They just come with them, right? So you have the option of either keeping them super minimalist. I get it, that Male scavenger mentality. If there's bare Molly, we got to put something on there. I intended to put stuff onto that system already, being that, let me just grab this guy right here. Pretty much all of my LBX or other plate carrier systems has always been 3 magazines at the front here, maybe a little admin pouch for me to utilize for radio stuff, different numbers, spare pistols, mission, objective, sensitive stuff, whatever have you, blah, 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 blah. But immediately to the right of that, I would typically have my radio carrier featuring the MC Kydex rack carrier. And immediately on the left-hand side of my 3 magazine pouches, when that Velcro is inserted, is going to be a 3x3 general purpose pouch. This a lot of times get utilized for spare grenades, whether it be the EG67s, the WP40s, the EG18s, whatever have you. A lot of times grenades or stuff that are going to be consumable throwables will make their way inside of there. So in the case of what I would want for my more minimalist indoor setup is going to be exactly where that muscle memory would be. This is where my grenades and bangers are going to go. And in the case of my grenades and bangers, I've got the Airsoft Innovations RIP, which are going to clip and load into this. These are some of the earlier generation of MC Kydex banger clips. They just clip in, they're just held in via retention. They're not gonna come out. I've not had any issues with these grenade carriers in any manner. Very easy. Despite how easy it looks to get these out, they actually do a phenomenal job with actually retaining those Airsoft Innovation grenades. So I can very easily pull, drop my weapon as long as I've got a sling on it. Let me make sure this one is not loaded, because that would suck. Woo! Oh wait, never mind, this one's been popped. I saw the brass and I immediately got super nervous, like, whew. Good thing I didn't. So, in the case of this guy, pull your pin out, just like that, as long as the primers are out, right? And immediately on the right-hand side here, because I'm not gonna be utilizing any type of communication systems, right? It's indoors, it's airsoft, you die pretty quickly, go back to spawn, you come right back in. There's no need for any type of radio communication, none of that cool guy stuff really needed. So because I wasn't gonna be running any type of radio, my immediate thought was, let's just put some additional magazines on here, right? Because my intention was right away, at least as soon as I was getting this, to put a bunch of gas blowback magazines on the inside of here and run my KWA LM4, right? So in the case of that, I need not only my 3, but as many magazines as I can carry. So grabbed a HSGI dual taco system, just putting AEG magazines on the inside there, and immediately have access to 2 additional magazines. Now granted, I'm not going to be pulling from this slot here. With my LM4, I'm going to be shooting and moving, shoot, and if I ever do run empty, I'm going to pull from here, reinsert, and then drop my empty magazine, which my battle belt, which is also LBX setup. Can you tell I really like my LBX stuff? So empty magazine can go right on the inside of there, and then I'm back up on the gun. In the case of if I get super loaded down. I've got a bunch of extra magazines on the inside of there. Ooh, heavy gas blowback magazines. I'm starting to lean off to one side. I can load up or top off some of those magazine pouches that I have on the very front here, grab my spare gas pouches or gas magazines, throw them into the empty pouches like so. Now I'm topped off on my immediate magazine situation, and then start loading my empty ones into the spare slot here. Just like that. Now if I'm ever continuing to shoot and move, blah, 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 I run out of 1 magazine, 2 magazine, 3 magazine, and I'm down to the 1 in the gun or in the pistol. A quick little trick for you guys is when these guys are empty, right? And I'm still super weighed down on magazines in my pouch here. What I'll do is I'll take the empty magazines, flip them right side up so I can see the feed lips right here. I can immediately look down and see that, hey, I can see the tops. They are very clearly and visibly empty. They're also not in an orientation, right? Very familiar with guys grabbing from the base here. These are not in an orientation for me to grab. Don't grab them. Quick little hack for you guys. Now, if I'm being completely honest, hindsight being 20/20 as it is, these double taco pouches do not do a very good job with retaining those heavier types of magazines. Just due to, I'm assuming, the positioning and the weight of the magazines, they don't do a good job. And what I mean is, let me grab another gas magazine here, is this already, because it's a chest rig, there's no type of firm, solid imitation plate, dummy plate, or even real steel plate on the inside here. There's no type of retention. It's a fluid design, so it's going to conform to my body. It's just going to be a little bit looser than normal. So there's a lot more flex to the pouch itself. So when you add any type of additional weight, especially pouches that only cover half the magazines, and you start to induce any type of jog, there's a lot of room that starts to appear on these pouches. And I've actually had it by accident where there was enough force here that I'll stop, they'll come and slap me on the underside of my armpit here. So that kind of freaked me out halfway through the day, realizing that that was going to be an issue, and very quickly resolved that issue. So on my gas magazines, did not opt to run any type of magazines here, but those lighter AEG magazines that don't have that same type of momentum, not a problem at all. Even if it's the fully loaded EPM1 250 rounders, not a problem at all. So this works just fine for AEG magazines, which I'm going to run 90% of the time. So I'm just gonna opt to keep it there, unless something else happens to come up as a better alternative. While we're looking down here at my belly, you'll notice that there is a little bit of an empty spot right here. Typically, on almost all of my rigs, you'll notice I typically have some type of dangler, some type of pouch that, again, sits on that Velcro and hangs a little bit lower. A nicer addition, a nice piece of kit that allows you to have a little bit more storage, carry a little bit more stuff, especially on something that's gonna be a little bit more minimalist like this. I currently haven't found anything that I have picked up just yet. Still kind of scouring, looking at a couple options. I don't want anything that's going to be overly large, just for that aesthetics. Kind of want something that's going to be a little bit more minimalist. That's not going to cost me an arm and leg because it's custom made. So still kind of working on it, but I will be picking something up here. What I've personally liked about a lot of the LBX chest rigs, albeit they currently, to my knowledge, only make it in this type of model, but the back of the harness here is utilizing an X or an H style of harness, which means that you have the top of the letter H that goes to the bottom, and then there's this little bar that goes and creates that letter H. I'll put a letter H up somewhere. Compared to maybe a micro chest rig like this, again, I've got a little Dangler fanny pack in addition to this. Something like this only does that X harness. The X harness does a phenomenal job with retaining your rig very close to your body. Granted, as long as you don't have too much weight on it, but any type of micro rig is going to move and jostle around on your body quite a lot. In the case of H harnesses, like what LBX is producing here, I found that movement or that wobble on the body as I'm moving around very quickly, shifting my body weight very quickly, left and right, up and down, going from a standing to a sprinting position very quickly. It does a very, very good job with staying tight onto my body and not creating any type of additional momentum. So I think that it works phenomenal in that regard. You may have also noticed that they have a very large back placard on the very back here as well. In the case of this LBX Assaulter's chest rig, you could completely remove that so you have just the generic H harness. You have an open back. This would allow for a little bit better breathability. It doesn't go completely skin tight, so it's not going to be completely covering your body and creating a heat casualty in any type of summer environment. You've got all of this going on as well. You've got plenty of chest room, you've got your armpits exposed, your neck is open, so there's no type of reason why having a little bit of back here would induce any type of overheating or making you a heat casualty. I like it for the fact that indoors it offers a lot of protection from guys that may come up and flank me. That's primarily why I don't like running chest rigs indoors, is because there is so little protection. So I like that the LBX Assaulter's rig allows me to have that flexibility, maneuverability at a low price and customization, while also allowing me a decent amount of protection, very similarly to what a plate carrier would offer me. Especially when we're playing that CQB, that thinking man's game, where I need to be as tight and as minimal as possible, not to give the other players any type of additional edge on me. I need to have some type of kit that's going to be a very low profile, that's going to hang very tight to my body, just so I can move around with confidence. In the case of airsoft, even gear hits count. Gun hits in some cases may count as well, so I want to have as little of a footprint as possible. So I think that this sits within that category that I would be looking for. And maybe it's a category that you're looking for. What do I know? I'm just another guy that's making content in his basement. You know, granted, it is March and it is still snowing up here in Wisconsin. It is still very cold. I would love to go outdoors. Can't do it just yet. So, breakdown. Pretty much a synopsis of what we covered. Again, this is going over just this, but it was a little bit longer than I anticipated still. I love talking about the details and going over details with you guys. But pretty much, to wrap this all up, I think that this, in my opinion, in wearing it and using it and utilizing a lot of the LBX stuff, it sits within the affordable pricing bracket that still offers you the best bang for your buck for quality and comfort. Again, there's a lot of really good options available on the market. I can't speak for every single one. I just have found a really good niche within LBX. Use whatever you prefer, my kings, right? This chest rig allows me to be very minimalist and move and maneuver very quickly and concisely within a CQB environment, and still offers me a lot of that modularity and customization if I want to take this same rig to an outdoors game or even potentially a milsim environment. It gives me a lot of protection without being overbearing, and it comes at a pretty decent price point. But I'm not going to say exactly what that price point is. YouTube may get mad at me. You're welcome to do your research. I'll leave a link to LBX in the details down below. You're welcome to purchase anything you want. Again, I have no relationship with LBX, so I don't have any type of deals for you. I don't have any type of discount, stuff like that. But if you feel so inclined to get anything from LBX, do me a real solid and let them know in the order details, because you can do that now. Let them know that I sent you, right? Again, relatively smaller channel. I love having the availability of being able to create content for you guys, giving you guys my 2 cents. Again, take it with a grain of salt. I am, after all, just someone that's making videos in his spare time. The last piece of advice that I have for you guys is going to be, of course, I may sound like a broken record compared to a lot of other people on the interwebs, wear your kit. Actually go out and take it to any type of airsoft game. If you are getting a new kit just for milsim, don't wait until that milsim event to actually wear it and try it out, and make sure that it works to what you want. Of course, hindsight being 2020, you'll only know that some things are not going to work out in your favor when you actually try to use them. So before you actually come up with a final loadout setup, take it to a field, wear it for the day, try it out. Of course, get it worn in, wear it around the house, doing chores, doing whatever have you. Other than going out in public, right? Don't be like a crazy guy and scaring a bunch of people in public. Just wear it around the house, do chores with it, get comfortable with it, get it worn in, and know how your kit's going to work in conjunction with what you want it to do. You know, just do that. Also, got a video on the gas blowback VFC BCM rifle coming out very, very soon. So keep an eye on that as well. I have nothing else for you guys. So you guys take care, stay safe, stay positive, and I'm hoping I can actually get outdoors and get you some, maybe some action with some of the stuff that I'm gonna be going over. But anyway, have a good rest of your day. Stay safe, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next one.